We are live. All right. Is everybody ready to go? Let's kick this off. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Friday, December 11th, 2020. And today we're talking about AirPods Max, Fitness Plus, and App Store privacy notifications. Because this is the iMore show, and joining us today is iMore contributor Karen Freeman. And also joining us today is special guest, 2 weeks in a row, Renee Ritchie of youtube.com/Renee Ritchie.
I was told I was playing the role of Georgia Dow today.
Well, no one can really replace Georgia is the thing. No one can really fill those shoes. So I figured, why pretend?
Okay. They wouldn't have known if you hadn't said anything, Joe.
Yeah, it wouldn't have, from the face to the setup to the lights behind you, they would not have figured it out.
I could be any of the 100 shows Disney announced yesterday. They would not know.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, now that should be our real topic for today, is all of the Star Wars and Marvel shows that Disney announced yesterday. But yeah, so it was, we're coming down on the end of the year. It was looking like kind of a quiet week.
Can I ask though, Joe, I'm sorry to be that person, but can I just ask what your favorite announcement was of all the stuff Disney announced?
Of all the stuff Disney announced, I gotta say Star Wars Rogue Squadron, the Patty Jenkins movie coming in 2023. I'm looking forward to that one.
For me, it was Rosario Dawson getting her own show.
Yeah, limited series, I think, is how they're doing that one. But yeah, so this week we're coming down on the holidays, and we thought maybe it'd be a quiet week, and then we started hearing rumblings that something was coming. And then on Tuesday, something appeared, and that something was AirPods Max, not Studio, not Pro Max, just AirPods Max. Yeah. So at $550 US, they're shiny and also kind of not in places. Super premium, super expensive. Karen, as the newest host of the iMore show, what are your thoughts?
I'm sorry, you completely froze, so I didn't hear the question.
I want your thoughts on AirPods Max.
Well, I mean, I kind of want them. I mean,
right.
They look sort of amazing. I don't know that I'm going to shell out $550 for them, but from what I'm seeing, they look incredibly comfortable. They sound amazing. For me, the big thing that people aren't talking about as much is the fact that you can switch easily between your phone and your MacBook and everything, which you can't get with even the highest end Sonys or Sennheisers or any other brand. So I think they look pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of people are kind of down on the style, but I kind of like them. They've got a kind of retro look to them, and the addition of the digital crown, which may or may not, depending on who you believe, may or may not be a replacement for touch gestures or a touchpad on the cups, is, I think, a great idea for controlling volume and activating Siri and that sort of thing. I like them. Renee, what do you think of AirPods Max?
I just love the drama. I love the drama of when Apple does this. It's like, yes, we know an iPhone isn't a $5,000 cinema camera, but what the computational photography does with that tiny little sensor is amazing. And yes, I know these aren't $3,000 Sennheiser, reference monitors, but what Apple is doing with a tiny, thin MP3 and ACC audio file computationally is amazing. And it's just a new thing. And, for some people, it might be a way better experience than a reference monitor. And for some, it may be an absolute waste of money. But I love how we can have no nuance about this and no multiple truths. It just has to be a hot take on Twitter, whether you hate them or people hating them are hateable.
Yeah. If you don't immediately have a strong opinion about something, Renee, we know that whatever opinion you do eventually have is just invalid. You weren't right out of the gate. You can't consider anything. You just gotta have the take immediately.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But what do we think about this price point? $550, $549, technically. Like I mean, it's not exactly go out and buy now, but then
it's a problem. Like I think it's the HomePod problem where when Apple has multiple offerings at different price points, people are fine. It's like nobody really cared about the stainless steel watch being $1,000 because you could get the aluminum one for $300, and nobody really cares about, you know, like there could be an iPad Pro that you never buy that's for nerds, but you buy the $329 iPad and you think you got a deal. But like when HomePod comes out and it's whatever it was, $350, and there's nothing cheaper, or when this comes out and it's $550 and there's no $250 sport version, people get mad because it's like, it's Apple, therefore I want it, but it's expensive, therefore I'm not buying it. And Apple now is the worst.
Yeah. This actually, Renee, this might have been a thought you had earlier in the week in one of your many videos.
Sorry.
It's that, you know, Apple, for a lot of people, it means affordable luxury. And this is definitely luxury and definitely less affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what people mad. But Karen, I think I'm with you. I do want them. And, you know, full disclosure, I have ordered a pair in my capacity as managing editor.
Nice. You found the perk jar.
Yeah. There's, you know, some perks, you know, I ongoing coverage, guys. I got to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we will have, we're going to have a review of those actually sometime next week because Christine Romero-Chan is also getting her hands on a pair. And so she'll be testing those out for us. And hopefully we'll have a review for you later next week.
What do you like, Joe, now? Because I never wear over the ear. I vastly prefer in-ear, but I've seen you wear over the ear for a long time now. Do you have a preference and do you have a brand that you like currently?
If I'm going to and I rarely do this anymore, but if I'm just going to sit down and listen to music for any sort of length of time, I prefer over ear just because bigger drivers is better sound. There's a physics to this. Yeah. But if I'm just walking around or I'm exercising, AirPods Pro all the way.
And do you have a brand for your cans that you like?
So these are Audio-Technica, and they're which is an established brand that only in the last few years has even branched out into Bluetooth.
The new technology.
Yeah, that newfangled. Somebody get this kid some help. This Bluetooth kid.
Well, no, like in radio, it was AKG for a long time. Like I just had a headset for an AKG because that's just what everybody used, and then it was a high-end Sennheiser and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. Now, Karen, you have reviewed a number of different kinds of earbuds and headphones for iMore, including not traditional earbuds like the Bose Sleep Buds. Do you have a particular style of headphone that you like to use?
I'm not somebody who sits down and listens to music for long periods of time, and I don't use headphones when I'm watching TV or anything. So I haven't really found over-ear headphones that are comfortable enough for me to wear for very long periods. So I usually end up in ear.
Do you, and this is something that I found with some headphones and less so with others. Do you find that glasses tend to be an impediment to enjoying over-ear headphones? Is that a factor in not being able to wear them for a while? Because sometimes they like press on the side of your head.
I don't know. I guess I have sensitive ears, I guess.
Yeah, and that's something I'm actually interested to test out with the AirPods Max is comfort with glasses. Like how long I'm going to try to wear them for like a full 8-hour day at some point. Just like, okay, so what's this actually like? And yeah, they're exciting, but they're strange. Like I feel very strange about them, you know, like I like them, but it's also because there are also rumors that this is a more premium version of AirPods Max. There have been rumors for a while that Apple is also working on a less or not, a not premium version, sport, if you will, which they don't really use for anything anymore. But yeah, so like I would guess.
What if these are the sport, Joe? What if these are the sport and the premium ones are leather?
Yeah,
and the leather ones are $1,000.
Yeah, no, just to tweak the nose of everybody who's already mad, it will be $1,049. They will add $50 to the price for every person who complains about the price of the current AirPods Max.
AirPods edition.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I keep thinking about is the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch Series 6. They're essentially the same watch, except for the stainless steel version has stainless steel, obviously, and sapphire crystal instead of Ion X glass, which does help the durability. But in terms of watch functionality, they're the same. So I can envision a cheaper, or now that Renee really brings it up, more expensive version of AirPods Max somewhere down the line, and they'll just call it AirPods Max. Everyone's like, what would they call a cheaper version? Probably just AirPods Max, and everything's just Max now. AirPods to the max.
The other thing that's weird is that since we're in a pandemic, you can't just go into an Apple store and listen to them.
No.
I used to work in an Apple store, and that around the time the AirPods first came out, and people came in all the time, and we just had like little alcohol wipes, and we would wipe them off in between people. People wanted to come in and hear them before they made that plunge. I mean, I know you can return them, but most people don't want to lay out the money.
Yeah,
if they don't want them.
Because some people know that they're just going to say to themselves, oh, that's too much of a hassle. And they will have laid out at least $160 for AirPods that they don't really want.
Yeah, and the return policy is like 14 days or something. It's not much time to think.
It's not particularly generous. Yeah, and one of the things, Karen, that stands out to me is I have never tried on AirPods or any earbuds in any store because I just wouldn't. But I have gone up to a set of Beats headphones in an Apple store and just putting them over my ears. And now, once people can really go back to Apple stores, they'll be able to do that theoretically with. Can
I mention something less moral, like less ethical? Maybe you get them, and if you don't like them, you eBay them for 3 times the amount because no one else can buy them until March.
Yeah.
I know, but how do you sterilize the? How would you sterilize the earpads in between people, though?
Get that phone soap stuff.
But would you trust that?
I don't know. On TV, it looked like a laser, so I think it's fine.
Maybe.
If it looks like a laser on TV, Renee,
like on Star Trek, it's like zzz, like the whole like that line of light just goes across the bridge and it's all clean.
Yeah,
that just blows up the ship on that show.
Everything blows up the ship since JJ's took over, but whatever.
Yeah, sparks everywhere. Screen fabrication on a starship must be a nightmare.
Also, the pink bothers me. The pink is just horrible. Pink's one of my favorite colors, but it looks like the metal is rose gold, and then the rest is like red, basically. Like
red orange.
So there's no pink.
All of them are meant to match. The cups are all meant to match the iPad Air colors, and the bands are all meant to match the iPhone 12 colors. And because the iPad Air is pink gold and the iPhone is product red, you now have pink and red, which anyone will tell you should never do.
But it's not even like the rose gold isn't truly pink. No. It's a sort of a pinkish copper. So there's no pink in the pink.
What do they call it? Millennial pink?
No, this is my watch band.
Why would
millennial
you do that,
pink.
Joe?
This is millennial pink right here.
Is it Zoomer pink?
No, millennial pink.
Zoomer pink is something else altogether.
Yeah, I don't know what Zoomer pink is.
I could never define
pink.
That. Their ways are a mystery to us, Renee.
I'm Gen X. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's something that occurred to me because I didn't realize until this morning, actually, that one was called pink. And I was like, wait a minute. That's not pink at all.
No.
That's so Christina Warren and Micah Sargent would buy it.
Yeah.
But if it was really pink, I would buy it. But
yeah, pink metal. Apple, make it happen.
When we talk about the carrying case, though, I mean, I feel like we're ignoring the headline. We're just burying the lead here. That carrying case is something else. That carrying case is like Johnny found out he was leaving and left that behind as a lark, and they just saw it and made it. Okay. He's like, what?
Yeah, well, it's weird because so one of the points that I think is worth noting about these is that they don't fold. So they don't have, like in a more traditional, I guess, pair of wireless over-ear Bluetooth headphones, like from Bose or well, not even Bose anymore, but like Sony, they'll fold up. And they so you can store them in a reasonably sized carrying case. These they don't fold, and there's nothing about the carrying case that I would deem reasonable.
That's horrible.
It's so weird.
It is bizarre.
It makes your headphones look like a purse or something, like a bag or something.
Or something, yeah. And
Well,
it's not going to prevent any wear and tear on the headphones.
No, maybe some scratches on the cups, but the headband is going to get torn to shreds. At least in any bag I would pack them in. You need to put a case in any bag I pack or over everything, or else it's ribbons. I'm not careful. Yeah, like so the one thing that this case has going for it, I think, is you open it up, you put the AirPods Max in, and then they've got magnets in them to put the headphones into, I think it's a low power mode, ultra low power mode. That's what we've got.
Yeah, the functionality in that aspect is good, but it doesn't seem like very protective.
No, it's more. I think the more I think about it, the more I think this case is really just about maximum battery preservation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and I can't see it as a travel case. And ultimately at home I can't see people remembering or even bothering, just caring to put them in the case at the end of every day, or between charges.
Yeah, it's just one more thing to keep track of.
Yeah, I think you should just get like I would put mine on a stand on my desk and then connect it to a lightning port when I wanted to charge. I wouldn't bother with the case.
Yeah. Of course, it opens the market for third-party cases.
Yeah.
Or you could even put it inside the Apple case. Put the headphones in the Apple case, and the Apple case in the third-party case. Inelegant, but
inelegant, but a solution.
Correct.
It's a shame. It like the headphones, I think, beautiful, great. We'll have to see how comfortable they are, but the case immediately just stands out. Now the AirPods Max come with the case, is that right?
Yeah, you get that thing to take home with you.
You get the case and the Lightning to USB-C cable, but no charging brick.
See, Apple finally.
So do headphones come with charging bricks? That's the only thing. I got some pushback on complaining because people said headphones don't come with charging bricks, and I honestly don't know if they do or not.
They don't.
Generally
they
don't. No,
but I just feel like you can dunk on Apple for that because they took it away from everything this year. So this is just part of a larger pattern.
Like, and I'm never going to let go of this. They took it out of the chargers. There's no charging brick in the MagSafe charger.
Yeah, the iPad has it, and the HomePod Mini has it, but not the
that
MagSafe
is very
charger.
Silly.
Yeah, the HomePod Mini has it. I mean, of course, it has to be connected to it continually in order to have any power. But you could just make a power cord. Apple make a regular power cord. I could go on and on about Apple reusing parts in ways that I don't approve of, but then we'd be here for 6 hours.
Only you had a line item veto, Joe.
Yes, that's what I need. I need a line item veto on things I don't like about Apple. We're going to get rid of overpriced accessories. We're going to bring down prices on accessories, and we're going to include a charging brick in chargers. Damn it. All right. Before we go on, I want to tell you about our first sponsor. This episode of the iMore Show is sponsored by Namecheap. Namecheap is offering all iMore listeners 30% off on non-premium domain names when they enter iMore, that's IMORE, in the promo box at checkout. Have an amazing idea for a website, online business, or blog? Then you should know that every great website starts with an awesome domain name. A domain name is more than just a website address. It's the foundation of your online brand. Namecheap offers hundreds of domain extensions from the traditional .com to country-specific like .us or even profession-specific like .design. Whatever domain name you decide, Namecheap makes the whole registration process quick, easy, and affordable. Namecheap is the world's second largest domain registrar and a top service provider for everything you need to launch, run, and grow an amazing website. It has an unparalleled level of customer service from over 1 million 5-star reviews verified by verified customers on Shopper Approved. It has more than 20 years of steadfast support of internet freedom and customer data privacy laws under its belt, and Namecheap strives to make the internet open, accessible, and affordable for everyone. Again, Namecheap is offering iMore Show listeners 30% off any non-premium domain name for its first year of registration. The offer cannot be combined with any existing sales, but can override any current sale if its discount is less than 30%. To get a domain name with a 30% discount, including .com and hundreds more, go to namecheap.com, search for your desired domain, and use the code iMore, that's IMORE, at checkout. Thanks to Namecheap for sponsoring this week's episode of the iMore Show. All right, so AirPods Max. What do we think of that name?
It's not Pro Max. It's not AirPods Pro Max.
It's not Pro Max, but I'm pretty sure every time he says it, Stephen Warwick will say Pro Max.
But in Scottish.
But in, yes,
Scottish.
All right.
Yeah. I think they were smart not to call them studio because I keep thinking that computational audio will just wreck any studio monitoring you want to do with them because it'll fix problems you want to fix yourself.
Yeah, and I think everyone thought studio. I mean, there have been rumors of that name for a little while, but I think everyone probably thought studio because Beats Studio.
Yes.
And I think I couldn't say for sure, but do people actually use Beats Studio for studio work?
On the Beats by Dre YouTube channel, they do.
Well, I mean, and that's great for the Beats by Dre YouTube channel, of course, but I'm not sure that's a studio headphone either.
They probably use $1,000 plus monitors.
But at $550, there is an argument to be made that people would worry, or people would think that they should use these for studio monitoring.
It's like, for me, it's like, should I use my iPhone camera for like setting up the ILM video shoot? No, you shouldn't. You should use proper instruments because this is gonna show highlights and shadows, and it's gonna correct skies in a way that none of your other equipment is gonna be able to handle.
You want giant sensors the size of my
sometimes
head.
You're not paying for. Sometimes, like, they're not called Pro, I think, but you're not paying for Pro. You're paying for the gadgetry inside it.
Yeah, I mean, you can compare these, and we have a lot compared these to, Sony's XM line of over-ear headphones or the Bose noise canceling 700. But I mean, one of the things that, I guess technically two of the things that AirPods Max bring to the table are the H1 chips in each ear cup.
Yeah. Spatial audio.
Yeah. Spatial audio is, so Karen, have you used spatial audio with AirPods Pro? Do you have AirPods Pro, by the way?
No, I almost bought them on Black Friday and I moved too slowly and I missed it. I missed the price.
Yeah, I got to tell you, spatial audio it's something special on the AirPods Pro, but they are tiny. There's a lot of work Apple's doing behind the scenes to make spatial audio work, and it makes it sound like you have surround sound on your iPad or iPhone. It's completely wild. And I can only imagine that with AirPods Max, the effect is, leagues above what you can find with AirPods Pro. It's very exciting. I'm very excited about spatial audio on the Max. Yeah. So, moving on from AirPods, because we could talk these to death, but we don't want to. They're only coming. No, they're not coming until next week, so we'll have a lot more to say on them then. But also coming next week, is Fitness Plus, because Apple didn't do just one announcement this week at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, December 8th. They did two major announcements. So you had AirPods Pro or AirPods Max. I'm gonna get that name right every time eventually. You got AirPods Max, but you also have Fitness Plus. So Fitness Plus was announced way back during the Apple Watch event, I think, back in September, all those many months ago. And it's the subscription fitness service with video content from Apple's band of trainers. They have a merry army of fitness trainers across many disciplines to help you get fit at home on your iPhone, iPad, and Apple TV. And it's coming on Monday. We've got Fitness Plus on Monday, AirPods Max on Tuesday. It's going to be a pretty cool week. Like, it's the end of the year, Apple. What are you doing to us? So Karen, are you at all excited about Fitness Plus or curious in any case?
Not really. I am a regular exerciser, but I prefer to exercise one of two different ways. One is completely distracted from the fact that I'm exercising. So I'll use my home equipment and I'll be checking my emails and, watching videos or whatever, so that I can pretend I'm not exercising. Or I want to go to a class where I'm there with my friends and there's the whole social aspect, maybe a little bit of competition. So just being able to watch a video, I don't know. It's not something that really excites me. It's not something I would probably do, to be honest.
Yeah. Now, for people who got an Apple Watch this year, you guys will get 3 months, I think, of Fitness Plus free starting on Monday. I think the question is that enough time for people to? I think that's enough time for people to build a habit. But will people actually like it? Will these videos?
Well, are you asking, will they convert? Like, will the people who try it for 3 months continue to pay for it after that?
Yeah, I'm very curious about that because some of us will.
I mean, 3 months is definitely enough time to figure that out.
Yeah.
But if look at gyms from the beginning of time, they get a huge surge in memberships in January, and the regular gym goer, you can't find a machine to work out on. A month later, it's a ghost town every year.
And maybe this is the secret genius of launching in December before everybody really starts their New Year's resolutions. They're like, oh, hey, new Apple service. Oh, I'll try that out. Oh, that looks cool. And then they're hooked. And they're not
January 1st. As soon as I'm undrunk, I will try this.
And that's the goal of all of us, isn't it? Once we're undrunk,
to sober up enough to care about working out.
But yeah, I mean, it's certainly interesting. It does, some people, I've seen people wonder why Apple is doing a fitness service, but I think this is one of those areas that actually is in their wheelhouse, given the focus of fitness, and the focus on fitness that the Apple Watch has. And speaking of Apple Watch, this is something I think that might get people to stick with the service. Is it's going to have the metrics right there on screen telling you, how well you're doing.
I think they would have been better to go do something like Peloton, where Peloton has live classes where the teacher can shout your name in the middle of a class. You can meet up with your buddies, even though it's virtual. You can meet up with people and you can have that little friendly competition. It's all live. Yeah. This is all going to be asynchronous. Yeah,
knees up, Keller.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, right. I mean, with Fitness Plus, you can compete with people who have taken the class before, but since it's all asynchronous, that's not the same thing.
Yeah, and
you compete with numbers on a screen.
That brings up an interesting point, Karen, because this is just the start of Fitness Plus, and I wonder if somewhere down the road they'll introduce live classes. I wouldn't be surprised if they had, maybe after this initial 3-month trial, although not that soon after, they introduce like a set of free, like 5 free lessons or whatever classes, not live classes, but 5 free video on demand instructions per week or something to entice people in. And then that's how they get you on the Plus. And then they have live classes for people who really want to work out with their virtual buddies or have that experience of being called out in class like you get with Peloton. I mean, Apple has a lot to worry about in terms of antitrust already. So maybe they don't want to attract that any more of that attention, but there have also been times when they seem to really be plowing forward with, we don't care. Try. Come get us. What are you going to do? Yeah, I'm interested, but it's a question of will I stick with it? And I don't know. But I'll be subscribed anyway because I did subscribe to Apple One Premiere.
Nice.
So who knows?
I wonder how many people are just going to put it on, sit there with their popcorn, feet up on the sofa, and say, "That's right, dance, you $1 million Apple trainers, dance,
burn, feel the burn." While you feel
Craig in the chat room is saying it annoys him when Apple does not sell in certain regions because it's not English, even though there's a large expatriate community. And it's almost always lawyers. Like when it comes down to it, Apple wants the money from everybody. They'll take everybody's money. But lawyers will point out that every area has its own regulation over the kind of content. And they often also have local and language content warnings. Like in Quebec, we often don't get things because we have our own laws for everything. There has to be a certain amount of French language programming, and there has to be a certain amount of Canadian content. And we're seeing the EU already threatening Apple with laws about Apple TV Plus not having enough European content. And I forget who said it, but someone's like, all right, so you're demanding 30% EU content, 30% Chinese content, 30% British content. There's not that many percentages. Has anybody done the math? You're running out of percentages. So it's always complicated internationally.
See, there's the pie chart, and you'll see that 30% is just like a huge chunk of that. You're gonna run out of room.
Anything is easy if you're not the one in charge of implementing and shipping it.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to have more coverage of Fitness Plus next week when it launches. What a year for Apple services.
Who's in charge of it? Who's in charge of it, Joe? The Fitness Plus content.
So our Fitness Plus content is going to be headed up by Luke Filipovich. Sorry.
Nice.
So he's been really kind of all steam ahead on Apple Watch this fall. He wrote our Apple Watch SE review, and he's going to head up our Fitness Plus content. He is a fellow Canadian for you, Renee.
Yeah. Are you going to demand that he wears a headband when he does any of this coverage? Like in all photos, he must appear with a headband?
I mean, I think I want him to wear a headband, and I think I want it to be a Canadian flag headband.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So
just really represent the Great White North. So we have one other thing I want to talk about this week, and it kind of springboards us into a wider topic about privacy and the new App Store rules about what Apple's calling privacy nutrition labels. Because WhatsApp, they're not happy about the privacy nutrition labels. They are in fact very upset because what WhatsApp is saying is Apple's new privacy nutrition labels in the App Store they're great for talking about privacy and getting that conversation going, but Apple isn't subject to the same rules as third-party apps in the store. Like iMore is not, iMore. iMore is in the App Store, but iMessage isn't in the App Store. It can't have a nutrition label. But WhatsApp can, and that label is going to tell you what kind of data WhatsApp is collecting. Where we don't necessarily know that about iMessage, but Apple came in with a response to this week, and they say, well, for apps, our apps that are on the App Store are going to have the labels, but apps that aren't on the App Store, well, you can still view that information on our website. And I wonder, is that enough? Is it enough to say you want to know what iMessage is tracking? Go find it on the website.
I mean, it's going to have to be enough. What else? Yeah. What else are they going to do?
Yeah, I just wonder I don't think Messages is going to be on the App Store anytime soon, because you'll notice that most of the apps that Apple keeps on the store, I mean, you can delete them. Really, you can hide them. Their data doesn't get deleted. The app doesn't show up on your phone if you delete it. But Messages, they don't let you delete that, probably because it's an essential function, has SMS in it, has iMessage in it. But yeah, so what do we think overall? Apple is really starting to enforce these rules. They were going to do it in September, but they backed off a little because somehow, even though they announced these rules in June, it caught companies like Facebook by surprise. So they pushed it to December. What do we think of these new nutrition labels? Like, do we think they're too much, not enough, just right?
I mean, I think it's valuable for us to know what information of ours is being given away.
Yeah. Do you think Facebook, when they complain about things like this, like Safari anti-tracking or privacy nutrition labels, do you think they have a leg to stand on?
No.
You think they're just trying to cover themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I'm going to listen to on privacy. Facebook.
Well, I think that it goes back to my old assertion that if you're not, like, you should have no issue with this. If you're proud of your business, you think it's a good business, if people are informed about it, that's a benefit for you. And instead of complaining about it as though someone is like showing off your dirty tricks, just embrace it and say, hey, we know that you have privacy concerns, but if you're willing to give us this data, we'll give you X, Y, and Z better features. Like Google could say we give you better search results. We give you ads that are more relevant to you. Or Facebook can say we let you benefit from our social graph. I think Facebook just can't make that case. Google could probably make it. Like a lot of people are willing to give their data to Google in exchange for like Google Photos and things like that. Where with Facebook, it's just people keep inviting me to barbecues in Singapore. I don't understand why your targeting is so terrible. But I think, again, make a case, show me it's valuable, and then I'll be willing to pay in data.
Yeah. And I think as long as people are aware of what they're giving up, it's fine. But why hide what you're taking from people unless it's going to be too much, unless they're going to think it's too much, and they're going to think it's too much. It's
exactly.
Yeah. It's completely ridiculous. Although I do think that WhatsApp has a point that Apple could do more to surface that information on its own apps and make it easier. Like, who's really going to go to the website? But for that matter, who's going to scroll down and read the information label most of the time? Yeah. All right. Before we continue, I have one more sponsor to talk to you about this week, and it's a returning sponsor. It is Woven. Woven is an all-in-one calendar that's perfect for busy people. It brings all of your calendars together in one place and powers them up with great and awesome scheduling tools. Woven syncs all of your calendars in one place, like Google G Suite and Microsoft 365, so you can see all of your time blocks in one spot, both personal and professional. Woven builds scheduling links directly into your calendar, so you can use both one-off scheduling links and publish scheduling links. You can even create group polls if you need to find the best time for several people's busy schedules. You can quickly time block your week using Woven's smart templates, so you can plan your perfect week of work and personal events. Woven also has built-in analytics, so you can easily calculate where you spend your time, so you can make time for what matters most. You can try Woven Premium for free for 21 days at usewoven.com/iMore. That's usewoven.com/IMORE. Thank you to Woven for sponsoring this week's episode of the iMore Show. All right. We do have a bit of a shorter show for you this week because Renee is a busy man. But I did want to talk about one more thing. Sorry, everybody. And it's a little thing, but when it first appeared, it was, I think, dear to the hearts of many of us. That is music memos. Apple is retiring music memos. And I just wanted to give a little shout out to this because this was a fun little app that Apple launched a few years ago. And, you know, for those of us that have, you know, fun with music, it's a little bit sad, I think, to see this app go. It's really, Apple's really focusing on moving these recordings to voice memos. So there's not really a place for it anymore. But I just wanted to mark it and ask you guys if you have any experience with voice or with music memos, and if you're sad to see it go.
I have to admit, I never used it.
Yeah, see, and this is the reason why it's going. Yeah, Renee, do you have any fond memories of music memos?
Well, I always had this pet theory that when Eddie Q called up Taylor Swift to say, hey, thank you for putting up that very public notice dissing us about Apple Music. How can we make this right? And she gave him a list of demands. One of them was because she was a huge voice memos user. She was like, can we have a voice memos app, but for music specifically? And Eddie's like, all right. She's like, and can you have Craig's team write it? And he's like, no, damn it, we're going to write it. She's like, ah. And so they did it, but it was sort of like a one-off Taylor Swift appeasement. And it never really glocked on because everyone else was just so used to using voice memos. So yeah, I think it was given its chance, and like bell bottoms, it did not survive the evolutionary continuum.
Yeah, and now that Apple's got, they've got voice memos built in, but they also have, GarageBand is on the iPhone and iPad. There really isn't a need for it anymore. But it was a fun little app. While it lasted, for anyone who just had a tune that they couldn't hum out of their head, they just needed to get it down. But yeah, I just wanted to say goodbye, voice memos, or goodbye, music memos. We'll miss you a little bit, but not really. So yeah, bit of a shorter show this week. I just wanted to say thanks, Renee, for joining us, and Karen, welcome to your slot on the iMore show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I neglected to say this at the top, but Karen is our new permanent co-host, and hopefully the three of us, and by us I mean Georgia, Renee, sorry. You'll be replaced by
you'd be a fool to go the other way on that one.
Yeah, you'll be replaced by our proper Canadian hopefully next week. We'll all gather next week for the next episode of the iMore show. I want to say thanks to everyone for showing up, and it is a bit of a shorter one again. There was just the news this week was not plentiful.
We need 2020 to be over in the worst way. We don't have to apologize for it, Joe. It's just we're done.
And it's so much. 2020 is so much already. Next week we'll have the full crew back, and yeah, so I want to say thanks to everybody for showing up and commenting like you always do. Always very fun and lively in the comments. So if you have listened live before but haven't in a while, maybe pop back in, join the group. It's always fun. So yes, thanks to all the live listeners, and thanks to everyone who listens later. We wouldn't be doing this obviously without any if we didn't have any listeners, we'd just be talking into the void. Some of us do that anyway. Who? Not me, certainly. But yeah, you can find, so we're usually here 1 p.m. Eastern if you want to join us live, and we'll be available later in the week if you listen to us on your podcatcher of choice. Our thanks to Jim Metzendorf, our editor extraordinaire, who always makes us sound so great. This has been the iMore show. Bye, everybody.
Can I just add quickly at the end? Joe is now joining the proud lineage of Dieter Bohn, the original host, with Mike Overbo, and then it was me for a while, Serenity Caldwell, Lori Gill, and now Joe. So it's an illustrious. Except for me, that's an illustrious group of people you're joining there.
It's no pressure at all. What?
Including you, Renee.
Why I saved it for the end. Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next
everybody.
week.
Congrats,
Bye.
Joe.
Thanks. And